The quarterback in this class is Colney Castle. I know he missed the second half of the season with a broken leg, but what do you see out of him on the film that made y'all want?
He's got real good accuracy. He sees the whole field, and he's got a quick release. Chris Miller, who I coached and was the Arizona Cardinals quarterback coach, called me on him when he was a junior, and so we watched him, and then watched the first couple games. We offered him before the season even, and we're glad that we got him. It's too bad that he hurt his leg, but he'll be 100% by the time he gets here.
You said a few minutes ago you're still looking at potentially getting one or two more out there. Is there a quarterback in that mix also?
No.
Everett Dickerson out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's a defensive back. Couple things about him. What do you think he's gonna move to the wide receiver?
Yes.
And then also, don't you have a relationship with his father from the Falcons as well?
Well, no. I had a Dickerson play for me, but I don't,
it wasn't his dad.
No, it's not related. He returns kicks, plays running back, plays DB. He does everything for his high school. We're going to start him on offense, but I think he, as Cedric, have a chance to not redshirt because they're pretty good return guys, and so they would have a shot to get on the field.
Can you talk a little bit about Jesse Montgomery?
Yeah, Jesse Montgomery. We kind of got on a little bit late. Sean Bray had called me about him, and then Alton Montgomery, Jason had played with at Houston. I coached at that may be the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
I coached in Atlanta, his dad, and so when I got a call on his film, we looked at his film, and he's very natural and has great ball skills, and he's a little taller corner. So I know what's inside the kid because I know his dad and know his family, and I just think he's going to be a good player for us. And we wanted, we kind of went back and forth, but he's going to be a defensive back, and and when he plays defensive back, he's got ball skills like a receiver. So that's pretty positive.
Maybe your most heavily recruited guy in this class, Jeremiah Gaines, was a tight end in high school. Your offense traditionally doesn't use a tight end very often. How do you envision using him?
He played everywhere. I mean, he played fullback, played slot, played wide out, and that's what I told him he'll do here. He'll play slot and wide out. And, we use a tight end probably 20 plays a game, and he'll most likely probably be that guy, But he gives us, like I said, he runs. I mean, he runs away from people. I mean, he's fast. I mean, he's not just your normal tight end. I mean, he's got wide receiver speed.
Does he remind you of a player you've recruited in the past?
No, not really. But I mean, kids that I've had, in the National Football League, he reminds me of some of those guys. The tight end. Most of the tight ends that come to camp are in that range. 235. That's 15 years ago. 235 to 245. That ran in the 4.6 range, and that's what this kid is. So. I mean, he's real athletic catching the ball, and he's got a little man, shake and bake too. I mean, he's pretty good.
Do you have an expectation on what number of these guys are going to be contributing?
It's always hard. I mean, I would guess probably maybe, 8 to 10 probably will get on the field some way. Help us. I would think Zeltminer has a real good shot. I think a couple of the offensive linemen, have shots too. We have a lot of young offensive linemen, but they're working real hard this spring already, and I can tell athletically and physically we look like a different team.
How much different have you found the process, and especially the way you and your staff were received in the recruiting process compared to 5-6 years ago when you first got here?
Well, big time. I mean, I think that's the reason that we have. That's why. When you sustain and you've won, you win one year, well, let's see, you kind of sustain. We've been kind of winning or had winning seasons for 3 or 4 years now. Now, when you go, kids say, oh, hey, they're here to stay, So it is a different response from the high schools and the kids, too. More importantly, the kids, but the high school coaches and the job my staff has done in those areas, in their recruiting areas. They have good rapport with all the coaches.
Would you have liked to have gotten more linebackers?
Not really. I mean, we got what we needed, I think, because we have what we think are guys on campus right now that are going to do a good job replacing the two big players we had, Taylor and Jagarrett. We got a couple redshirt freshmen that we think are maybe, going to be like them or a little bigger and faster. So, Kevin Pope and what's the
Randall Joyner?
Randall Joyner, but we Rambo is I'm trying to remember the nickname. Rambo is they played equal amount of time in there, so I mean they're going to take over the starting positions, and those two other kids rushing off the edge are going to be, I mean when you'll see what I mean. They don't even look the same physically already. Just in the weight room right now. I mean, I look at them and go, holy smokes, these are the same guys we had last fall. So that's kind of exciting.
You had 20-some receivers on your roster last year, and your secondary had suffered several injuries.
Yeah.
When you talk about looking at somebody like Kenneth Acker or Everett Dickerson at wide receiver, does that mean you're planning on relying more on young DBs back there to fill in?
No. Acker will probably go back to defense, but it allows the two young kids that got hurt to take all the 15 days of reps. I mean, Kenneth Acker, I know, when he shows up August 8th, he'll be ready to play corner in the first day. If he can help us at receiver, I mean, he was a really good receiver in high school, and he's got that swag about him that you got to have, to be a good receiver. So, I'm gonna try to teach him it, and I think, at some point during the year, I'll be able to throw him in there, during the game.
You spoke about how your staff was really helping you in recruiting this year. This was the first year for Jason Phillips to have, the full recruiting cycle. Can you talk a little bit about the job he did?
Well, all the guys did a great job, but Jayfield, he does a great job at everything he does. He's very conscientious, and he knows from being in the arena from Baylor and Houston, he knows all the coaches, so he just changed the logo on his shirt, and they respect him, and they have a lot of respect for him.
A year ago at this time, you talked about the positive impact that the announced move to the Big East had in the way recruits reacted to you. With the prospect of uncertainty in the future and possible more conference shifts, how did they respond to that, and how much did they bring that up with you this year?
Most of the kids that we are recruiting, we're not competing on, we're competing with the same other schools in that same arena with those same deals. So it really didn't come up. I do notice that in Florida we're getting way more response, because really from January 15th on, we really were out recruiting, and looking at getting into schools on some of the younger kids, because we already knew who we had, So that part of that, I can tell you the response from the coaches in Florida that when Derek and our guys went through there, I mean, there's a lot of guys taking a look because of the connection to the Big East. And we do have one coming, and that triggered more guys looking at it.
Spencer Hawley's father played here. Can you talk a little bit about Spencer as a player and his dad's reaction to see his son go to his alma mater?
Well, his parents are really excited that he's coming here. Obviously, he's moved around on his school. He's been in a couple different schools, but he kind of found a home where he is right now. He's playing. I like him because he's playing basketball. Anytime you have a 300-pound guy playing basketball, it tells you got an athlete. And right now he's playing defensive line. I always let kids play what they want to play, but I'm not so sure that at some point he may be an offensive tackle. Who knows? But he's a load as a defensive lineman, and you have to have that kind of size, especially in what we do. Because we're more of a speed attack type defense, so you got to be able to hold the fort down, inside when you're just playing 3D.